Hi, I'm Kirby Allison, and today, yet again, we have something truly special in store. I'm here in the heart of New York City on West 57th Street, just outside the showroom of Paolo Martorano Bespoke. Paolo opened his doors in 2017 and has swiftly come to represent and epitomize an entirely new generation of bespoke tailors doing work at the highest level, not just here in New York, but really around the United States. Some of you may remember that we embarked on this exciting sartorial journey back in my home city of Dallas, Texas, when I first sat down with Paolo to learn about his fascinating background and to ultimately commission a beautiful single-breasted suit. Later, Paolo returned for a first fitting, an experience that left me truly in awe at the level of craftsmanship and detail that goes into his work. Today, it's time to take the next step in this incredible journey. It's time for the second fitting. It is here at Paolo's showroom that we will get to witness the magic of a bespoke suit coming to life, where precision and passion meet, and meticulous craftsmanship fuses with imagination and creativity. So join me as we enter Paolo Martorano Bespoke for what promises to be another outstanding and inspiring visit. Paolo.
Kirby.
It's so great to be here in New York and to be in the studio. I have to say, this is, as I would have expected, beautiful. It's like a tailoring, tailoring haven here. Look at all this beautiful stuff.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So let's do that fitting.
Yeah, well, I'm excited. So I guess, shall we?
Right through here, yes.
Wow. Look at that. Wow. Well, this is beautiful. I mean, at this point, you really begin to see the garment coming together, versus with the first fitting, where it's still kind of, tied together through the basting threads.
Exactly.
And you can really see the silhouette of this beautiful suit taking shape.
Yes. This is the forward fitting stage. This is our second fitting. So you can see now a little bit more for the customer to appreciate finishing on the lapels. We've put the pockets in on the outside. We've put the pocket bags in on the inside through the canvas. And we even have some of the lining put in through the front panels as well. You can even see the pocket bags, how we hand finish this.
That's beautiful.
So they're reinforced.
Yeah. And look at this roll on the lapel. That is...
This is, at this point, with very little pressing as well.
So it gets better.
Exactly. You can see the hand padding that's through the lapel, the neck dart as well. So you can really appreciate the hand sewing that's inside. The collar is unfinished in case we have to do any alterations there. The back panel is still basted on in case we need to adjust the balance there. The sleeves are basted on. But at this point, usually we're not looking at any major alterations, and that's why we've advanced the finishing of the garment to this stage. For the most part, that first fitting stage that we did in Dallas, we've taken care of those major factors, making sure that the front and back panels are aligned perfectly. They're not fighting each other. We've lengthened the coat as well, which was a detail that we both agreed on. Little things like sleeve length we can now get a better view at because we have lining in the sleeves. In the shoulders, at this point, likely they're going to be staying the same width unless there's some major change that we need to make. For you, as we talked about the last fitting, you can see that fullness. Now we've trimmed it about 1/2 inch. So basically, from this notch that you see, as we call it, this white basting thread, from the neckline we've reduced that number a half of an inch.
Okay.
So that tightens it up a little bit. What that gives you is a cleaner back, more definition, but as you can definitely see here, all that extra fullness that you need to be comfortable and have it sit on your blades and have it sit properly on your neck so it doesn't ride back off your collar, which of course is the death of any garment.
That's right. Well, it's certainly, a hallmark of a bespoke garment is the fact that it doesn't do that. And then to have that clean, kind of sculpted back, again, is one of those elements of a bespoke suit that, really stands tall. It's interesting at this point, right, because it's on a mannequin, which is a perfect form, from which I'm a far cry from perfect.
None of us are as perfect as the mannequin.
But it's interesting to see how, the fabric, it doesn't lay flat, it's wrinkly, and that shows that, kind of bespoke cut, that pattern making that is really unique to me. Whenever you throw it on a hanger or a form, you see all those, adjustments, we'll call them.
Exactly. The
coming out.
hanger is straight shoulders. They're perfectly sloped, unlike the human body as well. We like to tell people that if they took their trouser for their bespoke suit and they laid it out on the floor, they're never going to be able to lay it flat because they're going to see the shape that's put in for the calves, the shape that's in there for their knees. All those things will prevent you from being able to ever lay those trousers flat on the floor, flat on a table. And it's really great to appreciate all the work that's been done to the trouser when you see it laid out like that. And you'll see the bend in the knees, you'll see that the cuff is at this sharp angle that's going the opposite direction from how the body actually looks. All these interesting things, and that's how you really tell if something's a bespoke suit, is when you look at it off the body sometimes.
Yeah. That's fascinating. I mean, it's interesting to me, and I still, am continuously in awe of just how a skilled tailor is able to build this shape into the memory of the garment, into the actual way it's constructed, that is completely independent of pressing and other things. I mean, it's there for the garment, really for its lifetime.
Exactly. This shows the importance of the fittings. We really see why fittings are so integral to the bespoke process. You can't rush this.
Why is that, though? I mean, speak a little bit more about that.
So in our case, and I think hopefully most tailors would say the same, the more fittings you do, the better the outcome is going to be.
Okay.
Our goal is to fit as many times as possible the first time someone has a garment made with us, so we can memorialize everything that we possibly can into their pattern and into their file, so that the next time that they order and subsequent orders after that, they will have all those things built in, and hopefully we don't have to go through anywhere close to as long as a process we went through the first time with them.
So it becomes more efficient the more garments that you have.
Exactly, and the customer who's new to the process needs to understand that they have to put in that time the first go around, but ultimately it will really pay off in the long run if they're willing to put in the time to have those fittings. It's a relationship between the two of us, right? Between us and the client, we both have a lot of effort that we need to put into this.
I mean, it's absolutely beautiful to see this coming together. And so the trousers and the waistcoat, I mean, that's all a part of this fitting as well?
Yes, we have the waistcoat and trouser. Now, this is still in the plain base stage. There's really no reason to do a forward fitting for the trousers and the waistcoat, putting pockets in, etc. So we've made all the adjustments that we took note of the first fitting, and then hopefully everything goes as planned, and we will be able to go straight to finish on these after we do this fitting today.
Okay, so this and the jacket would go straight to finish too. I mean, it would be finish bar finish, right?
Every customer is different. In some cases, we like to do multiple plain-based fittings for some customers. Some customers, they really require that. For some customers, we may go from a plain base to a more finished stage, even more finished than this. But what we're doing for you is what we would do for most customers, which is plain based, forward fitting, and then most likely after this, it's going to be a finished bar hole fitting.
Okay, and that is everything but the buttonholes.
Exactly. Generally, that's how that's going to look. There may be a basting thread through the sleeves sometimes if someone has a very particular way that they hold their arms. But generally, yes, it's going to be almost completely finished at that point.
Yeah, great. Okay, well, I'm excited.
Very good. So let's get this on you.
Okay, great, thank you. Wow, well, they feel great, and I haven't added too much to the waistline, so that's good.
Yeah, they look pretty good. We have a lot more shape to them than we had last time. We took them in, down the sides, we shortened them a bit, we worked on the seat and the waistband. So we'll take a closer look at those. First, we'll put the waistcoat on. We'll look at the full assemble. Okay, looks great in the back. It's ugly but useful.
Yeah, the pen cushion. Every tailor's best friend. Yeah, so it's a great companion.
One of our coat makers made this for me when he started working for us. I think the two toughest things to fit is probably a waistcoat and a double-breasted jacket.
Really?
Yeah, it's tricky. With double-breast, it's particularly tricky because of the overlap that you have to take care of first, that inside jigger button.
Well, at least we've only got one of the two.
And we don't have a tight waistcoat, so that's good. We have a nice overlap. And this is what we call a 5-show-6 waistcoat, which means that we have that 5 functional buttons, and then we have the bottom one on the curve that's really just for show. Okay.
Yeah, coming together.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah, and so talk a little bit about the relative height. So the waistcoat, whenever it's closed, should be, we shouldn't see any shirt, right? So
exactly. Now we'll just tuck this in so it's a little easier to judge. We've given you a little bit more height on the rise, and I think we're going to give you a little bit more again.
Okay.
And then we will be okay. So we'll use a fresh piece of chalk. The back length is fantastic. The curve and everything there is really, really terrific.
Let me see the curve.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Great contour. And the length is great there. So what I'd like to do is, I think we're going to give you a little bit more, just 1/4 of an inch here. Give you a little bit more exaggeration. So is the problem with basting thread. And then we're going to heighten the rise, because when we get to the trouser later, I think it wants to go a little bit higher. Okay. But other than that, I like a nice fitted waistcoat. I don't like a loose waistcoat. There's almost no point. It's like a corset for a man. Yeah. But this to me looks fantastic.
The lifetime on a fitted waistcoat is probably pretty short for the average.
Yeah, the shoulder's fantastic. I'm going to give you a little bit more. Yeah, a waistcoat's an accessory. We don't want a waistcoat to look like it's another jacket. So we're going to give you a little bit more here.
So widen it a little bit.
Exactly. And obviously with your very sloping shoulders, that gets exaggerated, but give you a little bit more length there. But it fits around the collar perfectly. I always like to just draw around here. Just indicate for me where your shirt collar is.
Now, what do you think? I'm seeing a little bit more kind of, shirt sleeve or, kind of yoke on this one. Would you widen the right side a little bit more than the left?
They look to me, from this angle at least, like they're about the same. It looks like about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches on both sides. So part of it is going to be bringing this down a little bit more. So it fits nice and clean here, and then giving you a little bit more over there. Like I said, we don't want it to be like it's another jacket. It is an accessory, but give you just a little bit more through that area. All right. Okay, and now we're going to put the coat on.
this is great.
I always take a deep breath before the customer puts it on. I do admit, although we should be doing everything as best we can, it's always nice when you see a coat go on a customer and it just looks fantastic. Okay.
You know, Ken Hayes say it, you know, it's terrible when the fabric shrinks in between fittings.
Okay. We have a nice overlap. As always, I like to do the simple things first. Just mark our sleeve pitch, look at sleeve length, all those obvious things first. And then we get into the details. Really good. We added a little bit to the sleeve length last time, but just on one side, I'm gonna give you just a quarter using that rock of eye. It wants to come down a little bit.
Yeah, it's a great fit, wow.
Yeah. First impressions?
Yeah, I mean, look at how this kisses perfectly.
Yeah.
You know.
We like to say that...
It's pinned, but even without the pin, it kisses.
Exactly, without the pin, which is, I'm gonna look how it is without the pin, because that tells me more about the balance, but we like to say that it should look buttoned even when it's not buttoned.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's good balance, I think, right?
Yeah, we ended up not having to adjust the balance last time after all. That's why we take a while to review the pictures we take after the fittings, and we sit on it for a little bit and then think about how it all looks.
Yeah, okay.
So, and the back looks fantastic. We can see that contour really nicely, that we made the right choice to reduce the nape to waist a little bit.
Yeah.
We may even draw it up another quarter. Shoulder points look fantastic.
Okay.
Shoulder width is really nice. Covers the seat really nicely. How do you like the length now?
No, the length is beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very elegant.
Yeah, that's very flattering. Sleeve pitch looks really nice. We have to just clean up the crown a little bit on this side.
Okay.
So just put a pin there. Okay. And then I'm just going to grab my measuring tape and check a couple of things out.
And what is that?
This tells me a little bit about your posture.
Okay.
And I always check that between every fitting, because sometimes customers can change how they stand between fittings.
Okay.
That happens a lot. And then I'm going to grab my other tape and we're going to check that nape to waist measurement, that distance between that notch and the collar again, just to make sure that we've really nailed it this time. Nothing good ever comes out of a rushed fitting. Okay.
And what is it you're marking there?
So this is that nape to waist. So what I want to see is when I put the tape measure around your waist to find the small in your back, that it's lining up with the notch.
Okay.
And we'll look at that on the cutting table, we'll lay it out. And if there's a discrepancy, when we look back at the pictures, if it's very obvious that there's an issue, we'll reduce it or we'll lengthen it. But right now, it matches up perfectly.
Okay.
It's right on the line.
Yeah.
So it's exactly where we want it to be. So we don't have to
And you
change
want
that at all.
You want that kind of narrowest point of the back to really
That's where all
be
that
kind of
shape
right
is coming
at
in. That's what really gives you that English look that we like to have in our silhouette, but with that soft shoulder. So you can really see in the silhouette now that we have the shoulder pads sewn into place and the fronts have been finished, how soft our shoulder is.
Yeah.
Really soft and natural. We're going to do a sleeve head that's going to be very clean. This is still basted, so it's still rough looking right now, but this is going to become very clean. We don't do any shearing or spalla camicia. It's my family heritage, but it's not what we put in our garment. We find that the American customer likes a very clean silhouette. And that's why we call our house style New York refined.
Yeah. I mean, it's incredible that despite the soft shoulder, right? I mean, you look at the shoulder line, it's impeccably clean.
Very clean. We have some work to do on this side. One of the things that we did between the first fitting and the second fitting is we squared your shoulder a little bit. Kind of ironic. You're known for your sloping shoulders, but we were too extreme.
Okay.
And we actually had to give you a half an inch of room on each side.
Okay.
And as you can see on the left side, your left side, it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Right by the breast pocket. It's
So you're
very
gonna clean up the
clean.
drape a little bit?
Exactly. So in this
fullness?
case, now with the based fitting, the first based fitting, we were able to take the sleeves off. We unpicked the shoulder. We put it all together again. In this case, we really can't do that with this fitting, but the reason why we do the fittings is to make sure that we do things the right way so the finished product is as perfect as possible. So we're going to take a look at this. I think we may just be reducing this a little bit at this point. The armhole is very high, as you can see and enjoy.
That's right, that's that comfort. Exactly. And so here, you'll still take the sleeve out, you'll trim it back, and then sew it back on.
Exactly. The coat maker's job at this point, and the head tailor's job, is going to be altering the pattern again and updating all of those things. So what's going to end up happening is this is going to come up out of the shoulder. So
okay.
We did right by squaring the left side, but it looks like the right side wants to put a little bit in the front, I should say. But the back is absolutely clean.
Yeah.
You should still be comfortable.
Yeah.
You should still be able to
It's
move.
very comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So let me just take a look at the balance. Kirby, if you could just look in that direction for me and just turn towards that window over there. Okay, and towards the other window. Okay, great. Let's take a look at how this looks unpinned. What we don't want to happen is we don't want it to crisscross and we don't want it to go A-line. We want it to be straight on down there. Our house style, it's a pretty straight front. It curves slightly. Some customers at this point, they now know about some tailors that make a much more exaggerated front. On a one-button coat, we can do that. On a two-button, it doesn't really look proper. But this really looks fantastic. Every time you move around, the collar's staying on your neck.
Yeah.
That's really important.
Great. Well, this is really coming together. What's next?
So we're doing very minor things here. We're just cleaning up the shoulder a little bit on this side. We're going to reset the sleeve. We're lengthening the sleeve. All the work is really concentrated just to one side right now.
It's my right side, it's with that sloped shoulder.
Never seen this happen before. So it's really exactly how we want it to be. We want there to be a little bit to do. But just as this fitting, what usually happens at this stage is there's not a lot of major things to do. The front looks really nice. I think the length at this stage is perfect. We've given you that extra half of an inch all around. So really just minor things. So at this stage, it's going to move on to another a finished fitting, bar holes.
Okay.
And we should be good to go from there. And of course, at any stage, we have to do whatever work is required. So sometimes we have customers that they're here for a week and we can fit them every day or every 2 days. We try to accomplish that.
Well, that's the real benefit of having you based in New York, again, is being able to offer that level of service that one wouldn't necessarily receive from a traveling tailor.
Exactly.
I mean, especially here in New York, but not just in New York, because you do travel, quite not only extensively, but I'm really impressed in many cases by the frequency.
Yeah, at least every quarter to a lot of markets.
Yeah.
We have a gentleman coming from Texas actually this week. He's going to be here for a couple of days. And we've planned that we're going to fit him a couple of times while he's here. He's a repeat customer, but he wants to really make sure that we've really perfected his pattern. So we've dedicated that time for him.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
people often ask, who's the best tailor? And in many cases, I say, the best tailor is the one that you can see frequently.
That's
Frequently
a good
and
answer.
often.
I like that
Because
response.
the best tailor in the world, if you see him once a year, you'll never get anything out of them. And this is where I think, again, having that level of service here in New York City, in addition to just how exceptionally talented, clearly, you are in the garment you're producing, that level of service and availability, just takes it to the next level, which I think is key and critical to producing a product like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm very happy. I can't wait to see. I feel like we took the basting threads. I could almost walk out with this right now. It's so
pretty
beautiful.
good, but it's not perfect. Not yet.
Yeah. Well, Paolo, thank you so much.
My pleasure,
And,
Kirby.
I can't tell you how excited I am to see this come together.
We are as well.
And I can tell already it'll be amongst my most beautiful suits. Wow.
I think so too.
Yeah. Wow. Well, there we have it. An absolutely exceptional second fitting here in New York City with Paolo Martorano, Paolo Bespoke. And I have to say, you can really see this suit coming together. And it is at this stage in the process one can fully understand why Paolo has such a loyal following, not just here in New York, but really around the country. And for him to be doing, what he's doing, the work at the level he's doing it, is really quite astounding. It's easy to see why, in many ways, Paolo is the new prince of New York bespoke tailoring. Of course, I'm Kirby Allison, and I love to help the well-dressed acquire and care for their wardrobes while exploring the world of quality, craftsmanship, and tradition. Thanks for watching today here in New York City.